Okay. I've fiddled with audio. Do we have audio? If you're on the YouTubes and you hear audio, please comment. What a nightmare! Right, I'm going to assume audio is now working. You know what they say about assumptions? We'll go from near the top. So in case anyone's wondering what the hell am I actually working on, because there was no audio to start with, I'm trying to debug right now. There seems to be some issuing between the Ignite side here, the instance, and the GUI. So I'm going to patch some more fixtures. Now, object not set. Interesting. There are only 2 fixtures patched there. Let's close this puppy, that puppy, window, configure. So it only thinks that 3 fixtures have been patched, but that can't be right. So the general idea is that the patch local command will be calling down into the Ignite compute action. Here we go, which implements iCompute action. So we've got this patch compute action, which is just for co-location. So it means that this chunk of code will be excuse me, will be serialized and sent over the wire to whichever console owns the fixture that we're trying to patch. But unfortunately, the patch seems to be a tad broken. So I'm going to load up syslog, clear that, and have a look to see what's happening. Be interesting to see what syslog is reporting. Now syslog's tied into Prism, so it's only going to actually show me from the UI side of things, the UI app events. It won't show me anything that's happening within the console application. So let's do, again, 10. already a key. Oh, and yet we've patched 3. And if I right click, oh, this is becoming very, very confusing. What happened within syslog? So we started, we've got existing nodes, which was this node here. Was it? Yes, it was. So we can see that the Light Console GUI application found the Light Console processor application or instance, and then we can see that I did in fact call the patch on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But then we got some null reference exceptions. So it's within the output renderer service. Okay, that makes things interesting. Let's have a look in the output renderer service. Let's pop a breakpoint in there. I'm going to restart the application. Let's clear out syslog. Let's see what's happening. So Ignite has started. I've deployed some services to the distributed grid. The UI looks like it started. Let's kick off the session launch. There we go. So that's also deployed some more services to the grid. It's deploying the same services. I do need to fix that to check if the services are already deployed, and if not, otherwise we're going to end up with even more services deployed. And then we can see that we set the active window. That's correct. Patch. Tungsten. And we're going to do 10 of these puppies. Now, this should just be 1 because we call 1 at a time. So fixture ID of 1. This is correct. The universe 1, correct. Channel 1, correct. Do I? Yeah, I've got a DMX channel. That's expected. Okay, that seems to be reasonable. And I've got my frame array. Let's just step. Yeah, let's step into. Yes. I want to look in everything, please. So try and get value. Yes. That's what it will step over. So we're adding, and that's going to be 0. So we're adding to our default universe frame. So I mentioned earlier, but it probably wasn't heard with the audio issues. These take a byte array that's got a length of 512. So that's effectively what this 0 DMX frame is going to produce for me. There we go. It produces a byte array that's 512 or a length of 512, and I zero it out. And the universe here just refers to, think of it as a cable, right? Each fixture can have a cable that runs into it, and you can have 32 fixtures on one cable, and we would call that cable a universe. And so I assign the value of 0 because it's universe 0, and then the 0 frames. So let's continue, step over. Bong. Oh, I see, we're trying to do it twice, but why would we be doing it twice for... Because it should then exist, right? and exist should equal true, correct. So then we should be skipping over this line. So we're trying to add the same data twice. Well, you know, that's a fairly common problem to have. We create patch. Back to the output state renderer. If it equals false, we add it. Otherwise it equals true and we should just be able to get it. That makes sense in my brain. Let's do Martin again. So, if it exists, which is going to be false, correct. We should be adding it, and then data is going to be equal to what we've literally just defined, which is this empty frame array. Perfect. So that's what I expect. And then exists. Well, this should now be equal to true, which it is. So we then should just be able to fetch that out of the, yeah. So that's where it was throwing. Okay. So that's working for more complex fixtures, but it's not working for generic fixtures. Huh. I wonder if I'm doing something really stupid with the generic fixtures when I'm patching. Let's restart and have a look. So a generic fixture, in case you're wondering, let's open up Capture. So there's different types of fixtures or lights in the world. Oh, we've already got Capture open. In-game HUD available. I've no idea what that means. So this is a design application for the theatre industry. So I'm going to grab, we'll come down to generic. I could just search for it, that would be quicker. There it is. Generic, and we'll go for incandescent. We'll plop that there. Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks about right. And now we can turn it on. So we'll turn on the dimmer. Let's point it somewhere. Or we'll point at the back of their head. So that just has one control channel, which is we're able to set from 0 to 100%, which would be 0 to 255 because it's a byte that gets sent through the byte array. What I patched and was working were more complex fixtures. So I want to see, why do these generic tungsten simple lamps, why have they got problems with the patch? Kind of digressed from, I mean, this is all still Ignite, Apache Ignite, but it's more debugging my crappy code. So many issues in this. So we're going to go quantity 10. Something. Okay. Patch record. Let's have a look at the details. Okay. So it's within the event received, yeah. This is on the third one. Yeah. So we patched 2 correctly. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And in fact, I'd say that that's been patched correctly, because it's got, we can see the DMX channels, we can see Universe 0 channel 3, so it exists. Just slightly confused because the payload sent the correct fixture and the fixture's got all the data it needs. Channel data null, but that should be at the moment because it's not been assigned. Data should be null again because it's not been assigned. Exists should be true though, because this has a universe with 0 already in it. So it's got the key 0 already. So why would that come back as false when it should be true? Oh, very interesting. And then it kind of propagates into a problem with Ignite. But it's not a problem with Ignite. This is a problem with an array looking up a value within an array and it's saying, yes, that doesn't exist, when in fact it does. Now that works. Let's do another 10. And they're existing over here. And in this case, oh no, there's still exceptions occurring. Let's clear out and then add some more. Excuse me. Well, I never. Huh. Well, at least one more fixture was patched, and we're failing to add the fixtures. Why? Why are failing to add the fixture? Nightmare. Launch another session. Let's clear out syslog so I can see what's happening there. Let's have a look at what's happening in here. Madness, I have to give it a little wiggle to see what's going on. Existing nodes, okay, that's all fine. Active window, yeah. I'm gonna do 10. Now that's saying failed to add, but clearly I have added. And if I come here, I can see that fixtures were patched. If I go to more, add view, fixtures, yeah, we've got 10 fixtures. So somewhere within the add fixture command, add fixture. This is super interesting, super intriguing. I've got this service, which is a distributed service. So it's kind of like a microservice. Apache Ignite allows for that, which is super nice. And these get distributed early on when you launch a session. And I've got within here this add, and there's some retry logic. Ooh, excuse me. Let's have a look in here to see what's happening, because I've got this retry logic that should, using poly, sometimes you kind of have to warm up the cache. I don't know why. Probably again my poor code. Yeah. Actually, I really only care about the result. Although it's not assigned anywhere. Oh, you cretin. I'm a legit... Ah! Yeah, okay, I see the problem. Right, let's rerun. So that's this. Because it wasn't failing, I just assigned a variable to false and then never updated it. Ugh. Active window. Yep. 2 servers. Yep. That's correct. Back into syslog. Existing nodes. Yep. Patch. Let's add 10 generic fixtures. Patch. True. Okay. Let's just continue. Yeah, we got 10 in there. That seems correct. We've had 4 occur over in this node, so the other 6 will have been stored within this instance. And let's check. Now we've still got some null reference exceptions, and that's occurring within the renders parameters. That's kind of expected, because it's a work in progress removing that event aggregator. I'm just slightly worried about the mismatch that occurs occasionally between what's being reported in the UI and what should have actually happened. Let's add 150 of these. So it added 5. Well, the UI thinks 5 were added. But if I look at syslog, I can see that actually a lot more were added to the show. I'm wondering if this render parameter is kind of throwing a spanner in the works. When in doubt, reload the view. And there we go. So we do actually. So the fixtures have been added to the show correctly. I would say that the message that they were added wasn't received. That's kind of evident by the fact I'm not seeing it over here either. And the fact that I don't see it within here. But I wonder if I reload the patch view. Ooh, no, that hasn't helped. That's because I hold on to an instance of it within there. So let's do batch. Now it'll actually create a new instance from scratch. Let's say, because it's one of those most expensive views to create, holding on to instances of it is a good idea. I don't like, though, Yeah, so that really does think that there's nothing there. It's super odd as well that the information doesn't work for generics. Let's do... See, this patch address should already be used. This address 17. So yeah, that's kind of good that it didn't. Adding Mac 700, but it didn't patch it. But then I don't think any of these are actually patched either. Okay, well, an easy way to test that. Let's close this view. We'll come into the fixture sheet model, and what am I looking at? Here we go. Well, the reload is probably what I call when I launch it. Apparently not. Let's have another look. Maybe it's refresh. Let's find a constructor. It's always a good place to start. Oh, here we go. Order by. Fixture. Fixtures. And there should be a load of them. Start address null. So they never got patched. So they're in the show, but they never got patched. So that's why the patch view isn't showing them. So the patch grid is actually correct. And I would imagine it's correct to the point that if I look at like fixture 0, yeah, there we go. Super odd that it's on 3, and that's on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then we're into nothing. So the first few fixtures have successfully been patched with the wrong address, but they have been patched, and then everything after that hasn't. So what happens if I do unpatch of that and then reload? I should see, oh, excuse me, the first. Now I thought that would be. I also thought, perhaps naively. Okay, well let's follow that logic that three actually exists. So we'll unpatch 3, and I think it was 5 as well. And we'll look in fixtures again. Results view. Oh, gosh darn it. Oh, the plot thickens. Maybe that's too many fixtures at once in one. So Ignite does like, and they're quite clear in the documentation about this, it would rather have one list of things to do, so bulk actions rather than lots of tiny little things. And what I'm doing is lots of tiny little things. Again, that's just through kind of legacy architecture rather than a design choice. It's just how I did it. And so I need to probably fix this by bulking everything up together and doing a bulk insert. But even just kind of throwing this much at it at once, it should be working. But if I had to guess, I'd say this was my shitty code. So let's do 150. Okay, well that's working. but it looks like the second node hadn't started by that point. Let's do another 150. Okay, that's also working. Windows, not the programmer, fixture. And so I'm expecting this to be 1. Yeah, so that's what I expect. And then I'm expecting from, what was it, 151? For that to have a start address of 151. Ah, it's 228. Now that is interesting. 286, 288. It's incrementing by 2. Oh no, there are 294. 5? Why on earth would that have been patched in at 5? And why has it got a fixture ID of 7? Oh, the plot thickens. Yeah, so 260. Right. It's been over an hour, although there were audio issues. And I'm still none the wiser. In fact, I would say there's possibly more bugs in this now than there were. But let's. I should probably stash them, but I'll. Let's commit them. We will call this live stream breaking everything into co-location. Let's come back to GDTF, reload the project, close that puppy. And we will launch Light Console, which is just going to be the UI. And I want to disable all the breakpoints. Let's delete that. Max 700, 10 of those. Pop it on the side, pop that over there. We will output some streaming ACN. Perfecto. And then we can do the 1 through 10 at 100. Hurrah! So this is kind of where I'm trying to get back to. Again, this all uses Apache Ignite, but a lot of the event system is kind of mixed up between just events running inside this instance, and there's no other instance of Ignite running at the moment. So let me clear that out. It's quite fun to do though. 1 through 10 gobo 1 at 15. Woohoo! Yeah, so that's where I'm trying to get back to. But I need to dig into what is going on with the patch, because obviously there's some kind of issue about what I want, the values that I want to be patched versus what actually gets patched. But it's no doubt this cretin's problem rather than somebody else's. So I'm going to grab some lunch and then carry on hacking on this. And once I've finished getting it working properly, I'll be back onto finishing this blog post, which talks through how some of it's working. So the data storage, my data service, and then I got onto this co-location. But yeah, if you're interested in kind of general, what the hell is he talking about, then check out lightconsole.dev, and there's a blog post that explains how it all works. And this is going to be where I document a lot of what I'm working on within the project. So I've got a couple of blog posts that are work in progress, and yeah, the Apache Ignite technical one is the work in progress at the moment, and then after that I'm going to be doing one about the fixture library and how that works. So yeah, kind of not as productive as I wanted the hour. I think I found a few more bugs than I was hoping for. It's the joys of development, eh? Especially when you've got people watching, it becomes even more difficult to get everything to work. But yeah, that's a little bit of Apache Ignite and C#. So as I say, the problem is on my side. For sure, it's going to be within, I think, my commands. I'm going to very, very slowly step through and work out what's happening. But as I say, that particular branch that I'm working on is just full of code that is kind of now legacy that I need to remove and actually get round to removing. Whereas, at the moment, it's some of it's commented out, some of it's still there, and it just makes it a bit difficult to work out what the chuff is going on. So yeah, a deletion of the code, tidying up the projects a little bit, so that by next Friday I'll have a green screen and some beautiful lights, and hopefully audio working throughout. Yeah, next Friday I think I'll continue along this path of, well, less of live debugging and kind of scratching my head at why isn't it working, and more into walking through the architecture, because I think that's probably worth explaining. But all the time that there's all this kind of legacy code in there and crap that shouldn't, I can understand someone watching this being like, sorry, what's going on? Yeah, so I'll get rid of all of that crap, and we'll do an architecture talk next week. Same time, 12 till 1. I've gone over today because of the audio issues. But yeah, 12 till 1. And then we'll probably jump back on Antler and the language definition stuff for 2 weeks' time, I think. Yeah, cool. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it, even if there's no audio for the first half. But yeah, things can only get better, to quote a British boy band from the 90s. I think it's... I'm not going to sing it. Right, toodle pip, everybody. Ciao.